Okay, this is lesson 101, and we are going to do 8 problems again. It starts off with problem number 8, and this is from this lesson 101. So what we're learning here is when we add fractions, we always have to have a common denominator. So we're getting a common denominator here on number 8, and I'm going to put the original up here. It's p over x squared negative 9 plus 2x x squared negative 3x. Okay, so we need to get a common denominator. What we need to do is factor these. In this case, this is going to be x negative 3 and x positive 3. And this one's going to be an x negative 3. I factor out the x. Are you with me on that? X negative 3, x positive 3 equals this. Factor out an x and we have x negative 3 left. There's your common denominator. Okay? So your common denominator then will be, we don't need to add, in this case you see an x negative 3 and an x negative 3. We just need to use that one time. We do have the x, and we also have an x positive 3. That is your common denominator. Okay, we're going to add to whatever we don't have on this side, we will add with p. In other words, here's your p. We already have an x negative 3 and an x positive 3. So all we need to do is add this x to the p. All right, now we have this side, and we have 2x, and we have an x negative 3 and an x. We just have an x positive 3 on this side. In other words, we've added an x positive 3 over here, so we added above it. A bit confusing, we'll get used to this after a bit. Now this is an unusual one in that we have 1, 2, 3 different terms. This is a term, this is a term, and this is a term. And if you look at this, we can cancel out an x out of each one of those terms. You can only cancel out if you can cancel out something out of all the terms. We have 3 terms. Here we got an x we can cancel out. X in this term we can cancel out, and the x this term we can cancel out. They started off with a complicated one here. Okay, so we have that out. Then on the top we have a p plus distributive property 2x and positive 6. On the bottom we have an x positive 3 and an x negative 3. And that is your answer. Let it there for a moment while you study that. That was number 8. 9 is similar, maybe a little easier. Number 9. Getting the common denominator out of this, we have a x negative 4 and a negative 2. Will that work? Negative 4 and a negative 2. That's a positive 8 and a negative. That is correct. Okay. And on this side then we have x negative 2 squared, which is really x negative 2 and x negative 2. Understand that? Now what's common about our denominator here, so we can get all of it, we have, just draw another here, we'll put your common denominator underneath there. We have only one x negative 4, so we'll use that. Here we have an x negative 2 twice, we just need it one time. And here's another, in other words, these will just be one time, because they're on both sides, but we also need another x negative 2. That is a long common denominator. Okay, up here on the top then we have 8x. Here's what we had underneath here. We had an x negative 4 and an x negative 2. We're missing one x negative 2. On the other side, we have a 7. We had x negative 2 and x negative 2, but we did not have x negative 4, so I need to put an x negative 4. Okay, I'm trying to think. Yes, we do need to do distributive property here now, so one more step to this. Here we go on this side. 8x squared. Y'all follow me on that? 8x squared, and 8x times that is negative 16x. And then we have positive 7x and a negative 28. Let's put this all together. I have a 8x squared, negative 16x plus a 7x. That looks like a negative 9x, negative 28. And this is my complete common denominator. However, we got an x negative 2 and x negative 2. We can do that like this. X negative 2 squared, because we have two of these. X negative 2 squared and then x negative 4. Okay, these are a bit more complicated. I'm hoping you're staying with me. That is number 9. Number 10, you have to have a calculator that has a square root on it to solve for this one, but we have A, B, and C. If I push my 2 and the square root, it is 1.4142.135. And they are, do you remember yesterday when we talked about the ED and the TH? ED is on this side of the decimal, and the TH is on the right side of the decimal. Now they are asking for 10,000ths. Let's review here. This is tenths, this is hundredths, this is thousandths, and this is 10,000ths. So we want to round to the 10,000ths. It's going to be 1.414. This does not round it up, so that's 10,000ths. This is your answer for B. On A, I'm sorry. On B now we have a 0.6, and it's just repeating, so we can write however many we want. It's asking for it to the nearest hundredths. Okay? Again, this is tenths, this is hundredths. Is that right? And it does have a TH, so it's on the right side. So our answer is 0.6. Does this round this 6 up? Yes, it does, right there, 0.67. The next one is to the nearest thousand. It stands with the D and not with the TH. I'm sorry, this does not always work with the ED. I thought it did, but sometimes it's just the D. I'm going to write the complete number out here, 3,500.63210, but this did not have a TH on it, so we're on this side, and it's to the nearest thousand. This is the ones place, the tenths place, the hundredths place, and the thousandths place. So we're going to round to this number. Does this 5 round it up? Yes, it does. So it's 4,000 is your answer. That is number 10. Number 13, given these points. If you do not have a graph, just use one on a previous lesson. And the points are 4 and a negative 3. And a negative 4 and a 2. I'm going over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's my first point placement. And a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2. Here's my second placement. Coming down across this way. And I do the square on this one. It becomes, count my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and they are asking for A and B, the slope and the distance. Is this a negative or a positive slope? You agree with me? It's a negative. It's going downhill. and it's a rise over run, so it's a 5/8. This is the slope. The distance, what we're actually doing is finding the hypotenuse. So it's going to be the square of this, which is 25, and the square of this is 64. Because we're finding a hypotenuse, we add these together. 989. Can you reduce 89? You cannot, so it's the square root of 89. That is 13. Number 13. Number 14. This is not new. It's up from lesson 95. However, we did not learn this real well. I want you to turn back to lesson 95. And we're going to look at the quadratic function. That's 95. We have the different functions. We've been working with that. However, we didn't identify them real well. Let me show you here now on these different functions. The quadratic function is one where we use the x squared. We have the cubic function, which is a x cubed. We have the square root function, which is a square root sign. And we have the absolute value function, which is the absolute value sign. Okay, if we go back over here now on 101, which one of them has a quadratic function? The first one is the square root. This one is the absolute value, and this is the cubic. It leaves this one, the b is your quadratic function. So the answer to number 14 is just b. b is your quadratic function. Hey, there we go on this one. Now we're ready for number 20. 20 is really something you would know real well. Drop my marker. Ansley's laughing at me. Number 20, but I'm just going to do this for you because I'm going to try to do about 8. I thought maybe this one would be a little harder, maybe not. Okay, so we're doing the distributive property to start with. That's 4 times 2 is 8 to the square root of 15. And then distributive property here is going to be 5 plus 5 to the square root of 9. And positive 10 to the square root of 15. I see two like terms here. 8 and 10 is 18 to the square root of 15. And this, the square root of 9 is 3, so 3 times 5 is plus 15. 15 cannot be reduced. I think that's your final answer. That was 20. 2 more to go. Number 25. Again, one that you should know. We are going to do factoring out of this one. So on the top there, I'm going to factor out negative 4x squared. And that is going to be 1. 1 times this equals back to the same. And then we have a negative 2. Actually, that's going to be a positive 2. Positive 2a. Let's see if this works. When you can always check yourself on factoring. 1 times negative 4x squared is negative 4x squared. Positive 2, that's times the negative 4 is going to be negative 8x squared a. Is that back to the original? It is. And now we have a negative 4x squared on the bottom. We, of course, can cancel all this out, and this is your answer. That was number 25. Number 26. Well, actually, 25 has a B on it. Let's do B also. So this is going to be B. We already have down at the bottom a negative 3 to the square root of 2. The answer for this is, cover the sign up. 3 times 3 is 9. That's going to be negative 9. And on the top of that one, we have a negative 3. negative 2. Sorry, this was supposed to be like this. And that becomes a positive 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay, then we have to move this down, so this is a negative 3 to the, now we have 3 times 3 is 9, and the negative sign is negative 9. Negative 9, positive 9. When you move these down, we multiply these. Positive 9 times negative 9 is a negative 81. Remember, we're on the bottom of this fraction, so we are 1 over negative 1. That was 25. Now we're ready for number 26. This is one of those that we say completely solve the numerator before you start on the denominator. So in this case, we have a 5p negative 4 with a common denominator of x, and we add an x to this because it was standing alone. That is solving for the numerator. At the bottom we have 3 negative x. The x down on the bottom only, nothing here. So we're adding this to the denominator over here. That becomes a x squared. Move the x over to the middle. Okay, we invert this denominator, x, and we have a 3 negative x squared. Cross cancel. The final answer is 5p negative 4x over 3 negative x squared. There is your final answer. That's lesson 101. If you have any problems with any of those, give me a call. You can text me. However you can do to complete these lessons. Be sure to continue to complete every problem. If you have a if there is a problem that you have, just give me a call. Thank you.